passionate Toastmaster, also an IT professional. So let me call upon the stage Toastmaster Ramakrishna. Toastmaster Ramakrishna, matchmaking Toastmaster Ramakrishna.
How many of you have had an arranged marriage? How many of you plan to go for an arranged marriage? Well, today my story is going to connect to all of you in some form or the other. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and all the guests. 2nd October 2006. We all know it is Gandhi Jayanti, right? And it also happens to be auspicious day of Vijayadashmi. Venue was one of my close family friends' house. I wasn't of the same weight or personality then. Imagine a 60 kg weight person driving a Royal Enfield along with his cousin, that to see a girl. Well, we reached the venue. We were welcomed by our same common family friend, and he had one comment for me. Hey, you drove on a Royal Enfield to see a girl? Awesome. We only dreamt of having a Royal Enfield when we were young. Well, it all started with meet and greet. Had some snacks because it was an afternoon, and followed by some cool drinks. Well, that was not any occasion to have any other drinks. Right? So, there were about 2 elderly couple and their children besides the girl's parents. And we were about 2 of us who went to that occasion, which we felt a little bit low from a head count standpoint. So this is basically how the thinking goes on such occasions, right? Traditional occasions. There were about 10 people who were staring at me, and a couple of them interviewed me. What do I do? How do things work for me? How much I earn? And so on and so forth. It was all going like this. So with all that ambience, I was kind of little nervous and feeling uncomfortable with all this happening. But here comes the main episode. The girl slowly walked over, dressed in a traditional sari, and she was made to sit on a diwan mat. The sun was setting, and the rays were passing through the window, which actually shadowed her face. So I couldn't look at her face properly. And you know why? All I wanted to make sure was, is it the same girl whom I saw in the photograph or not? That's all I wanted to make sure. But not much of a luck. Neither her nor I uttered a single word. Again, our family friend, common family friend, broke the silence and offered me, hey, do you want to talk to her in person? And you know, in that state of already uncomfortable mind and with all that ambience, I kind of, no. And that's it. And she was asked to go back inside. And I don't know, somehow they got some positive, feedback, positive sign from my face or body language and all that. And we call it a day. And as I was going back to start my Royal Enfield, and I looked back to say bye to the hosts, this is when I noticed a couple of ladies standing in the portico were commenting, hey, this boy looks too small on that Enfield. Is it really needed for him to come on that vehicle? This is when I laughed to myself with hubris, because everybody noticed that I'm something special who drove a Royal Enfield, for a matchmaking day, on a matchmaking day. Well, we reached back our home, and I conveyed my acceptance to my parents. In fact, I did accept this proposal much before this occasion after seeing her photograph. It was a mere, formality as per my family's wish. Now here comes the interesting part. After a week or so, her brother called me up and said, I want to meet you, for lunch outside. I said, okay. So all three of us, girl, me and her brother, all three of us had some good lunch. And we two were given some one-on-one time. And this is when I asked her for a mobile number. The thing is, I never called her, though I have the number. And the arrangements were being made for the engagement by both the families in the background. It was just a week away. And now the girl calls me. And she said, I want to talk to you in person and let's meet somewhere. I'm kind of shocked. What is that she wants to talk to me? I already said okay. And finally we agreed to meet in a park, and I went on, picked her up. And as we met in the park, I was already into that confusion and anxiety. What is that she going to talk? Is everything falling apart or not? So I broke the silence and asked out of curiosity, now tell me, what is that you want to talk to me? She had only one question. Are you really interested, or were you forced? And I got shocked. And she explained. I had to ask that question because neither you called me or tried to make any contact with me in all the 2 months' time between our matchmaking and engagement as it was approaching. So then I had to explain my position. This is how I look at it. I said, okay, it is done deal. Now it's an opportunity for me to figure out, how her thinking goes, and then try to draw a line and come to a common ground of understanding. So that was a learning. And it was all good. Nothing fell apart. And after that, we soon got engaged in a week's time. And later, I improved a bit. Started calling her up and started meeting her in person and so on. That was all going. And again, to do all this, we had only 2 more months before we formally tied the knot on 7th February 2007. Well, friends, if you are interested, I'm going to tell you the rest of the story in some of my other speech. Over to you.